terrifying monsters of the flood invade, or the banished rage in to take over everything in their path, sometimes you need a special type of inferno to stop it in their tracks. From Mega Construx Halo, this is the Kinsano Cyclops raid. In line with the Halo Wars 2 game, Kinsano commanded warthogs, hellbringers, and anything that can blast flames to torch everything to ashes. To really get down and dirty, she suits up with a heavy-duty Cyclops perfectly suited for her. We've had Cyclops sets before, early on with very specialized parts and later with more elaborate builds. So, with all those coming into this, how does it stand? Well, let's get into the little things first. The set includes one base plate that's not made from cookies and cream, and a silver updated tactical shotgun. Some could say it's a little bright, but we've seen it in black, we've seen it in gray, let's mix it up a little. First the Spartans, then the Elites, now this. They've updated pretty much everything. This was the first set to change the mold of the flood infection form. The body uses a rubbery texture that makes it disgusting and gooey. The feelers are all one piece that plugs in. There's also a peg hole underneath. I'm gonna miss the wash and paint, but I can't leave out the credit of their successes. The legs look like a sloppy wood bug, and the rigid back end really gives that parasite look. Hey, kids, into the slime toys? So why not this? Better yet, how about 3 of them? Morgan Kinsano seems to be the specialized figure for the set, featuring unique paint applications and a name in the title. But what about Louie, Huey, and Ted? Her body is molded in dark and light gray plastic parts, with metallic green armor and markings of the blue and red on the chest and both shoulders. She does use the female torso and marine armor. Didn't even know they made a simpler undersuit, thought we were stuck with the Spartan mold. She also does have a proper headpiece with painted hair, lips, tattoos, and eyes. Little weird, but at least they're not soulless pupils. When suited up, you can also use the included Hellbringer helmet, metallic gold and green colors, but I wish there was somewhere to store it without modifications. Well, that and the head swapped. I find no use for decapitated heads. First, there was the original Cyclops made from very specialized parts to keep the general shape in touch with the game design. Then afterwards, we had the more constructed figures, featuring its own new parts and armor. Looked good, but it was very problematic for its construction. These joints would clip in from a hinge, but the rotational pin was too tight, meaning that trying to move it would easily dislodge the clip entirely. Not to mention the armor pieces that slipped off easily. Bringing in the Kinsano Cyclops, you don't have the same problems. Similar armor plating returns, now settled more securely with pins being used, plus the ball joints give a wide range of motion without the worry of unintended disconnections. But while they solve some major issues, they seem to be replaced with new ones. Functionality-wise, they took out any knee joints in the build, which means all you get is the hips and toes. It's not like we can't get any poses from it, but it really pulls away from dynamic motions. The heels can adjust, rotate, and the toes are on a combined ball joint. But they're attached by one peg so they can easily slip off. The flamethrowers use a number of pins to keep the shape, and they can adjust easily during play, so keep your attention that you don't just grab it like an animal and make some crumbled mess. Also, if you want to keep the torso to have different angles, watch out that you don't push it down to flatten it. It's definitely not slim, which I think that was the intention, and we should support all Cyclops body types. This is a heavy-duty beast with giant tanks on the back. It's crazy to believe this would stand, even in a sci-fi world with those legs. It does come off as ridiculous though, not goblin ridiculous where it's like, hee hee yeah. The flamethrowers are meant to resemble upscaled versions of the handheld mold, but brick-based to get the size. You could debate if they did a good job, but I approve the shark head decos. Flame pieces are included, so I think it can destroy the Thing monster. Another deco piece on the shoulder, and I can't say no to the articulated finger mold. I don't usually mix Lego sets with Mega Construx, but I'm tempted to use these for Bionicle sets. Anyone think that head is Shockwave's drone? You could open up the torso, bring in Kinsano, plug her in, and with a few adjustments, she fits in alright. Even the legs go right around the bars. It's not the best sitting position, her back doesn't stay flat against it, and sadly, you can't fit a Wraith in it. How could they? Need a spot for the shotgun? Put it on the arm. Why not? Arms use the ball joints along with the elbows, fingers have hinges, ball joints in the hips, and we mentioned the toes already. Could use more in the legs, but with the giant flamethrowers swinging around, it makes me forget the problems, because burn everything! I think the Cyclops was in the right direction if they wanted a more brick-based figure, but the execution feels like they were focused on fixing the previous issues while missing the new ones. I don't blame them for the hefty design, I just like the previous slimmer look. Still, a Cyclops with massive flamethrowers is awesome. Burn! Enemies must burn! Kinsano, that was an orphanage.